This week's best MMA bets, we're talking Noche UFC. I'm going to give you guys my most confident picks on the card, my favorite underdog. We'll talk the lock of the week, prop/value bets, and then finish it out with the parlays. So make sure you guys smash that like button. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn the post notifications on, and make sure to share the video as well. Riding high after last week now, 4 locks in a row, getting W's for me. So a good streak going here leading into Noche UFC this weekend. Alberg obviously get it done against Da Un Jung by submission, which was not something many of us expected. And obviously the fight ended up going distance, and then the review shows that Da Un Jung tapped out. It was a sick W for Alberg. Happy that we're on a nice roll with the lock of the week streak. So I want to get things started off with the lock of the week. Roman Kopylov to beat Josh Fremd in this fight is the lock of the week for me. Now, as far as the lines, I have noticed a swelling in the lines. Right now, we're looking at it in a bit of a wide state at minus 350. If you remember Sunday on the breakdown, it was at like minus 250, minus 260 range. Obviously, a lot of people feel as though Kopylov is a sure winner. At the end of the day, it's the fight game. He is the lock of the week, and I knew Sunday I was calling it as the lock. Obviously, if the lines were at this on Sunday, maybe I would have looked elsewhere, but I got to ride with my guns. I got to ride with my guy that I wrote down as a lock, even if the lines are not what I love to see. It's a pretty chalky card overall, and you'll see when we talk about some of the other picks on the card that there are some wide damn lines for these matchups. Also some good underdogs too, which we'll get into. But the lock of the week here is going to be Roman Kopylov. I just see him as such a superior fighter to Josh Fremd in this fight. And I look at the striking from distance of Kopylov. I look at his ability to mix his strikes together with kicks, punches, stance switches. His sniper style from the outside is pretty on point. And I don't doubt him in the grappling positions either. I just feel he's a much more fine-tuned mixed martial artist than Josh Fremd, who on the other side is a big guy at 6'4", is going to be the larger man between the two. Has pretty decent cage pressure and control. His win last time out was Jamie Pickett. Kopylov is on a 3-fight knockout win streak, and I actually think he's in his prime now. He seems better than before, and like the way he's winning these fights all by knockout, it seems like he's elevating to a level that could potentially break into the rankings. Granted, middleweight is stacked, and there's a lot of killers there. I love Kopylov here in this matchup. Also note that Josh Fremd has a recent loss to Tresean Gore, and look at the level of competition he's jumping here. He beat Cedric Dumas and beat Jamie Pickett. Now they're throwing him Roman Kopylov, who's a straight monster. I got Kopylov confidently. The KO line is minus 135. I do believe he's going to knock out Josh Fremd on the regional scene. Fremd was actually knocked out by Gregory Rodriguez. Not an easy guy to put away, obviously, with his size, but on the feet, I feel as though he's a lot more clumsy than a Roman Kopylov. He's much less technical. He's much less explosive, and I think he's at a disadvantage of the speed. So the one path to victory for Fremd would be cage pressure and control, because I don't think it's going to be easy for him to put Kopylov on his back. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think Kopylov is going to beat him up and knock him out. Roman Kopylov is the lock this week, and I think he's bringing me to a 5 streak, which I definitely look forward to. Let's jump to the next section, the most confident picks on the card. These picks here are going to be regardless of odds. I'm going to throw them up, and this is all high confidence. We got 4 of them. We got Josephine Knutson. We got Edgar Chairez, Lupita Godinez, and Raul Rosas Jr. Let's first start with Josephine Knutson. It's a women's fight between her and Marnik, man. I really feel as though she's going to be able to dictate where this fight takes place, as well as dictate the striking pace. And I think Knutson, with the striking background, is eventually going to find a KO. She also trains at All-Stars team. You know, obviously Hamzat Chimaev's an All-Stars guy. They got some straight killers over there. I like Knutson's chances in this matchup here with Marnik, man, a ton. But like the bookies are thinking the same thing. I'm looking at lines around minus 600 for her. That's damn wide. And there's spots that have her wider than that. So obviously the money line is hideous here. And unfortunately, we got a lot of that with this card. You can get a bit of plus money on the KO side. Knutson by KO plus 200. Now, she didn't get the stoppage of Isis Virbek on Contender Series, but she had good striking moments in that fight with someone in Virbek who is a striker too, who fought as a professional in striking. And now I have Marnik Mann on the opposite side that I think is way less skilled on the feet than Knutson, less athletic, and I don't think it's going to be easy for her to get a hold of Knutson. So I feel as though Knutson is going to find the knockout in this fight and kind of put a stamp on that debut after not getting signed from Contender Series, though she had a dominant win. I think she comes in here in styles on Marnik Mann. So we're going Knutson, knockout, high confidence call here. The next one we'll talk about is going to be Edgar Chairez over Daniel Lacerda da Silva. Let me tell you something, guys. I like Daniel Lacerda. I'm a fan of Daniel Lacerda. I think that out of all the 0-4 fighters I can think of in UFC history, he's probably my favorite. But Edgar Chairez is a pit bull that can strike and grapple at a solid level, whereas I see Daniel Lacerda as a guy who has a great first-round blitz, lackluster as far as his defensive capabilities. I would say D+ level. He has very good offense and great spurts and can hurt his opponents, but Chairez is a very tough man. He's not going to be an easy guy to put away. He's a Mexican fighter by nature. These guys have more heart than many, and the chin is definitely there. He's also never been finished early. He has been finished in the second round towards the end of it. I think Daniel Lacerda is a first round or bust type of fighter, and I think Chairez is going to end up stopping him in the second round. Now, I like inside of the distance for Chairez. It's minus 170, so at the end of the day, maybe not the greatest tag ever, but the money line is wider than that at minus 235. Looking towards Chairez by a KO, plus 175. A ground and pound stoppage is kind of what I'm seeing. But I've also mentioned I could see him locking up a sub. Chairez nearly tapped Tatsuro Taira. Plus 350 for that sub line. So value-wise, I like the bigger plus money at sub. Likelihood-wise, I enjoy the inside the distance call here. And I do think probably second round, Chairez in the second round is plus 450. Note that, though, round betting is high-risk territory. Probably going under 1.5, but I could see a later second round stoppage for Chairez, and it wouldn't be impossible for Lacerda to last that long, but the style of fight that he brings and the fight IQ that he's shown, it's first round knockout or bust, and I don't think he's knocking Chairez out, and that's why Chairez is a high confidence call on this card. Next one, we got Lupita Godinez at minus 440. The fucking lines, holy shit. Awful line, but at the end of the day, she really should be able to outwork Elise Reed everywhere. I think she's going to win a decision. Lupita Godinez has not shown great finishing abilities, though Reed on the other side has been finished. And I feel like Godinez controls the pace. I think she's got the faster hands. She's definitely the better wrestler. MMA win, using every facet of her skill set. Winning a unanimous decision over Elise Reed makes a lot of sense to me. Now, over 2.5 is minus 205, but I'd be a bit cautious with that. With a decision win for Godinez at plus 120. Note that Reed's been finished a good amount. All UFC losses by finish. Godinez hasn't shown great finishing ability, but doesn't mean she's incapable of a finish. And a Godinez win potentially by sub is only plus 190. For someone that hasn't gotten a finish in the UFC, I'd like to see it higher. With a TKO at plus 400, I think it'd be less likely she TKOs Elise Reed in this fight. Potential sub, but I'm actually thinking decision is most likely. Wide line for Godinez, but she is a very confident pick, and I expect her to be able to beat Elise Reed this weekend. Especially Mexican Independence Day. She's taking out Elise. The next one, as far as the most confident picks, oh man. Putting Raul Rosas Jr. here, I thought about it for a while. He's a high confidence call. The line sucks. This is a chalky card. But at the end of the day, minus 800 is way inflated. He's going to beat Terrence Mitchell. He's going to outmuscle him on the ground and find a submission. Him to win by sub, being Raul Rosas, is not a great line either at minus 160. Listen, I got bad experiences betting Rosas in the past in a rough time for me. And I'm not going to tell you guys to go throw down $800 to make 100. I'm not telling you to bet any of these things, but I am calling the most confident picks on the card as I see it. I want to tell you guys what I'm feeling as far as the lines not being my mainstay of what I'm talking about with the high confidence. These fighters should all win, and I expect them to all win regardless of the betting lines here. Not all of them are great, but Giagos is a playable tag. For sure. Money line straight, you could potentially touch it in that minus 230 range. Rosas is going to beat Terrence Mitchell. I have him winning the fight by submission. I'm expecting that to happen. And, at the end of the day, Christian Rodriguez, who beat up Rosas, is a real good prospect. Terrence Mitchell is unproven at a high level of mixed martial arts. A lot of his wins are in Alaska against no-names. Those are the most confident picks. I want to jump now to my favorite underdogs on the card. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you smash that like button. If you're enjoying the content, you aren't subscribed, hit that subscribe button too. All right, we got 3 dogs on the card. We're going to go for the, trifecta, all 3. Potentially, degenerate 3-piece dog parlay. But let's talk about these dogs. I'm going to go one by one with the dog section here. First, I want to bring up champion Alexa Grasso. She's the #1 pound-for-pound women's fighter on the world right now, and she's plus 155 as an underdog against Valentina Schevchenko. Now, as I look at this matchup, I recognize Schevchenko last time out having a top control advantage. Grasso has the better jiu-jitsu. Grasso also is a tricky boxer for Valentina Schevchenko to deal with. And you really can't doubt Grasso's gas tank either. She can keep a high pace for a whole fight, a whole 5-round championship fight. Schevchenko is over 35, which I think drops the potential of her coming back, getting the win. It's like against the statistics as far as normally champions losing a belt. Like that, especially Grasso beat a Schevchenko who really struggled against Talia Santos in the fight previous to that. Now, I expect this to be a bit of a war. Mexican Independence Day, I could see it going distance. I've been picking Grasso by decision, but I would not be going and throwing down, heavy money at a decision prop bet here. I would say if you're going to touch the main event, moneyline underdog Alexa Grasso is your side, guys. Now, as far as the decision prop, I'll read it off just for those curious. Plus 350, and then submission is plus 375. Submission is also live to happen once again. At the end of the day, that spinning back body kick that Schevchenko throws is a move in her arsenal. Could potentially throw it again. Now, can you imagine lightning strikes twice with the exact same move, getting her back taken and her strangled? I like Grasso to win it. I think she can touch up Schevchenko in the striking, make it a competitive fight in the grappling, and threaten with subs, and I expect a hard matchup. If you're betting the side, it's the money line underdog, and still Alexa Grasso as one of my favorite underdogs on the card. The next one, we're going to jump right to the co-main event. We're only jumping one fight down. Kevin Holland to win. I know people will say, bro, you're crazy. Jack Della Maddalena's that guy in the stand-up, but he is at a significant disadvantage in the reach. He's dealing with a Kevin Holland who's got good hand speed too and boxing skill and is a legitimate submission threat. Kevin Holland's known for lacking wrestling, right? Lacking the wrestling game. As far as his jiu-jitsu, it's definitely there after he strangled Chiesa last time out. Many will say that was the corpse of Chiesa. Sure, whatever you guys want to say about Chiesa, regardless, he beat a good grappler by submission last time. On the side of Jack Della, he really struggled with Bezo Hafez, who came in on short notice. I could see this. Club and sub Kevin Holland. On the feet, I expect him to be touching Jack Della, and I think he could potentially hurt him too. As much as I love Jack Della, I'm a fan of JDM, as much as I think he has great boxing, this is a risky step up in competition and one that I think is going to go against him. I think he's going to get an L inside of the UFC with this matchup here. I think Holland by club and sub. Submission win for Holland sits at plus 500. Obviously, the money line, plus 125, I would say that's your range. That's what you want to throw down. It's higher than that at some spots, upwards of plus 140 too. Kevin Holland's a live underdog, a great underdog with statistical advantages here, striking from distance. He's been able to hurt guys at middleweight. Notoriously, Kevin Holland's in a struggle with grapplers or with the best pure kickboxer in the welterweight division in Wonderboy Thompson, who he was landing significant shots on. Give me Kevin Holland for the win. Upset, submission, club and sub, Kevin Holland, underdog. One of my absolute favorites on the card. I love this one. And now the final one that I'll bring up is going to be Jasmine Jasudavicius, who I expect to be in a hard fight, a real hard fight. Tracy Cortez is a pit bull, man. She's got good wrestling and solid hands. Jasudavicius, I think, is the better wrestler. She's also a little bit longer, a little bit taller. I think the physical strength advantage could be on Jasudavicius, and the top game, I feel like Jasudavicius plus 105. She was an underdog, a big dog, against Miranda Maverick, and look what she did to her. Now she's fighting Tracy Cortez, who's good, but hasn't gotten a top caliber win in the division. She beat Melissa Gatto. She's been out for a bit. I think Jasudavicius is live to outwork her for 3 rounds. Plus 105, Jasudavicius straight underdog money line, which is the A side. Decision prop plus 130, which I think is rather likely, though it's only a plus 130 jump from plus 105. Not great. Over 2.5 rounds, minus 400. I think we're going over. That minus 400 tag's ugly as hell. The money line Jasudavicius side. I believe that the underdogs I have listed for you guys this week are pretty fuego. I really do. I feel like Jasudavicius is a workhorse that could outpace Tracy Cortez and get a hard win over her. I'm going to say she does that. So plus 105, Jasudavicius to close out the favorite underdog section. We got 3 live dogs for sure and some epic matchups. It's a great card. It's a chalky card. You guys can see it. Some of these lines are wide as hell, but I think I got the X-ray vision on some of these dogs here this weekend. Looking forward to them. Guys, I want to jump into the next segment, which is going to be the props/value bets. And let's look at some of these potential props. Okay, so the first one that I think is worth bringing up is going to be Daniel Zellhuber to get the win. I believe he is going to defeat a pretty game Christos Giagos and game enough to go distance, but I don't think he's going to have an easy time closing that distance gap. He's at, I believe, a 5.5-inch reach disadvantage. That's off the top of my head. Could be a little off. Close to that. Zellhuber's a long kid, man, and he kicks well from the outside, controls distance, and I think he could win a decision here. I want to bring up the decision. Decision win for Zellhuber plus 170. Giagos, not an easy guy to put out, and Zellhuber hasn't gotten that highlight reel UFC knockout. Not saying it couldn't happen here. Minus 260. I was going to do a Zellhuber honorable mention in the most confident pick section, but I felt like I didn't want to kill it with that. So I'll say it here. For those that just watch most confident picks, or those that maybe skipped this prop section and didn't listen to it, they don't know that Zellhuber's an honorable mention. You do. Zellhuber, honorable mention. I do think he's going to beat Christos Giagos from the outside. Not an easy fight, though. Minus 260 the line for him to get the win here. Now, I'll tell you guys honestly, I don't love this next prop at all, but I just wanted to bring it up. Under 1.5 is minus 215 with the Campbell-Reyes fight, which, like, in a sense is like unknown. Probably Campbell comes out like a fucking bat out of hell and stops Reyes, who hasn't fought in almost 6 years. Campbell by knockout, minus 200. I believe it's going to happen. That's my pick for the fight. Did not include Campbell in the most confident pick section because we really don't know for sure what we're going to get from Alex Reyes. He's been out so long, could potentially have reinvented himself, or he could be a completely shot fighter with absolutely zero left in the tank. Kind of makes this game so fucking fun. I'm curious to see. Campbell should beat him. 5-1 though. Charlie Campbell's making his debut. I don't like 5-1. That's an ugly line. I do think he does get it. So those right there, some of the prop/value bets that I felt were worth noting on, outside of our high confidence picks, lock and dog section. I do want to jump to the fame section, the fan favorite section, the parlays. All right. Kopylov Shairez minus 127 is the first one I have up on the screen because at the end of the day, I think Shairez is eventually going to stop a Daniel Lacerda da Silva, and I think Kopylov is going to beat up Josh Fremd. Minus 127 is near even money. Yes, it's not the greatest plus money tag, but I think this is a heavy hitter. Now, if you're a fan of Shairez, maybe you're like, yo, I want to stay on Shairez, but I don't want to ride with your guy as far as the lock being Kopylov. Okay, let's see what we can potentially do. If we threw Knutson in our slate with Shairez, where we at, Shairez? Boom. Minus 159, uglier. Loopy in there. We got even money for these three. I do think this one probably comes through as well. Taking out Scheidez and riding with the side of just Kopylov with the ladies around minus 117. At the end of the day, these are not pretty tags. Knutson and Kopylov I got a good feeling about, but it's minus 194. Now, if you wanted to go a little smoky with it and go for the high risk, high reward, if you threw up Grasso, you're in that plus 330 range now with Knutson, Kopylov, Grasso. This is a little more risky. I like the straight money line of Grasso, but if you're looking to add two favorites to it in a parlay and bring your plus money up, and I think they got good chances of winning, this one right here, plus 336. Now, if you're like, yo, early in the night, I want to get a ladies dog in, Jasmine Jasdavicius is quite live, plus 218 for this little trifecta there. And let's see it with Kevin Holland, because depending on who you like, plus 241 for that one. Now, if the dogs swept the card, for me, I guess not every dog, but my dogs, what line are we looking at? Jasdavicius, Grasso, Holland. Around plus 1,200 for the dog trifecta, the clean sweep of the dogs. And might as well, you threw in the lock, Kopylov. Minus 275 at Betway, but I don't think you're going to see that in most places. DraftKings is really the, standard of what the lines are looking like. It's minus 345. Plus 1655 for that high risk, high reward type banger. Take out Grasso and Holland. Let's just leave Jasdavicius. Plus 110 for Jasdavicius. Plus 171 for Jasdavicius and Roman Kopylov, which is, I think, a heavy hitter, man. The ladies' fights, at the end of the day, sometimes go the opposite way. It's a risky game, but I do believe in the ladies that I've picked. I'm just looking at this here to see. Plus 293. It's not great. To get in the big plus money territory this week, you're going to be really eating a lot of risk. You're going to be taking a high risk, high reward situation versus, throwing down on the high confidence. I'll put all the, high confidence calls on the card up. Lupita Godinez. It's like I don't even want to put Rosas in. Plus 160, but let's put Rosas in just for shits and gigs here. Plus 203. You can't get much plus money even with all the high confidence picks, man. I mean, the most confident pick section, the lock section as of late has been doing very fucking good. At the end of the day, Adesanya was the only L of those two sections last week. Plus 203 sucks, though. Plus 203 sucks, though. I would lean you guys towards maybe a lighter dog mix-up bet with like the lock or most confident picks that you're feeling. And then, a safety play with the lock that you have and the high confidence picks. A lot of you probably in similar alignment with me, seeing that these high confidence calls lines are not necessarily pretty, but I think the likelihood of them coming through is pretty damn high. And I'm looking forward to Saturday so you guys can sweat it out a bit with me as I'm riding with Kopylov, lock of the week. We got some really good most confident picks, favorite underdogs, and I think the Zellhuber prop's interesting too. And I think the safety parlay I listed off is not a bad idea either. Guys, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments, what is your lock of the week? What is the most confident pick for you on the card? Drop some of your favorite dogs, props, or parlays in those comments too. I'm curious what the community is thinking. I appreciate you all watching. Make sure you smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. And turn those post notifications on. Don't just leave them on personalized. Put them on all so you don't miss a video, because I got daily content dropping on the channel and you don't want to miss it. Noche UFC this Saturday. I'll be live for the entire thing, so make sure you tune into that fight companion. Much love, my people. If you got nothing to say in those comments, but you just enjoy the content, as always, drop a W in the chat to boost the algorithm for your boy. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace, everybody.